First contact fiasco. The skies over Geneva darkened unnaturally at 11:42 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It wasn't the weather. It was the Star Cruiser, 2 kilometers long, a floating behemoth of jagged black alloys and pulsating blue lights, descending slowly over Lake Geneva like a scene ripped from every alien invasion movie Earth had ever produced. Except this time, it wasn't fiction. The Cyrex Empire had arrived. World leaders stood on the UN's private runway, ringed by diplomats, military observers, and scientists, all in formal attire, except the Americans, who wore matching jackets that read, "Welcome, overlords. Free hugs." It was unclear whether it was a joke, a political statement, or both. As the ramp of the Cyrex vessel descended, heavy steam hissed into the air, obscuring the delegation within. There was a dramatic pause, clearly timed, before the aliens emerged. At their front walked the Imperial Herald, a towering, mantis-like creature in ornate crimson robes and gold shoulder plates. Behind him, the Emperor's envoy, General Vortak of the Flame, High Executor of Expansionary Forces, commander of the Burning Fong Fleet, stepped forward, his face hidden by an obsidian mask with sharp fangs carved into its edge. He raised his long, armored arm. "I speak for the eternal Cyrex Empire." His voice boomed from a translator cube. "Submit your world, and know the mercy of assimilation. Resist, and be purged from the stars." Silence followed. Then came the laughter. It started as a snort from the Australian delegate, then a chuckle from the Canadian representative, and then the entire human delegation burst into loud, genuine, uncontrollable laughter. General Vortak tilted his head. "Explain this cacophony." UN Secretary-General Amina Ross wiped tears from her eyes. I'm sorry," she said, catching her breath. "It's just, you sounded exactly like a movie villain." "Like exactly." Vortak narrowed his many eyes. "We are not movie villains. We are the rightful rulers of the galaxy." "Oh, no doubt," she said, regaining her composure. "But the cape, the booming voice, the resist and be purged line. Come on, it's like you rehearsed this in front of the mirror." The translator hesitated for a beat before spitting out, "We do rehearse." More laughter. A drone zipped through the air, live-streaming the event to over 9 billion devices. Within minutes, the memes began. Screens worldwide were flooded with captions. "When a cosplayer takes it too seriously." "New villain just dropped." "Star Wars meets Saturday Night Live." Back on the ground, Vortak struggled to understand. "Do you not grasp the gravity of this encounter?" "We do," Ross replied, "but we're also trying not to wet ourselves from how seriously you're taking it." In the days that followed, the Cyrex representatives attempted multiple formal audiences. The second meeting, held at the Louvre, ended with 3 human representatives doing impressions of Vortak that sent the gallery into another laughing fit. One journalist described the Empire's demeanor as goth space fascist with a flair for the theatrical. The third meeting involved Earth's cultural ambassadors offering the Cyrex samples of humanity's creative expressions. A curated data archive was provided, including Shakespeare, Einstein, Carl Sagan, and for balance, a few cat videos, some George Carlin stand-up, and a copy of Shrek. The Cyrex emissary returned the data chip. "This material lacks clarity. Why is the Green Ogre both revered and mocked?" "Exactly," said the American representative. "Now you're getting it." Within the Cyrex delegation, concern grew. "These humans do not fear us," said Sub-Envoy Cross H, one of Vortak's aides. "They mock authority. They defy protocol. They gave me a T-shirt that said Galactic Subjugation Tour 2431. Vortak seethed. "They are primitive, undisciplined, unfit to exist within the order of the Empire. We destroyed 10 civilizations last cycle with less resistance." And yet, Vortak looked to the screens, where human media continued to broadcast parodies of their first speech. "They do not fight. They ridicule." The Cyrex were trained to crush military resistance, suppress uprisings, and extract resources. But what was the protocol when your enemies thought you were a joke? At the UN, Earth's leadership gathered to assess the situation. They expected fear, Ross said, sipping her coffee. Instead, we gave them memes. Now they're confused. Admiral Zhao, head of Earth Defense, nodded. We're tracking increased chatter. Their fleet is mobilizing near the moon. They might lash out. They already did, said CIA liaison Grace Okafor, pulling up a feed. The room went quiet. On the screen, a grainy satellite image showed Jupiter's smallest moon, Elara, erupting in flames. Demonstration of power, Grace said. Message was, this is your future. They nuked a moon, Ross said flatly. A moon with no life, no cities, just floating ice. They wanted to scare us. Well, said Admiral Zhao, it's trending under hashtag Moonyeet. Indeed it was. Within hours, humans had created hundreds of clips, editing the moon's destruction to dramatic music, adding slow-motion explosions, and dubbing over Vortak's speech with fart noises and dubstep. One particularly popular meme featured a Cyrex soldier trying to look intimidating while someone off-screen threw a cream pie at him. Another used AI to animate Vortak dancing to Earth pop songs. The Empire was not amused. We have been insulted, Vortak growled in private transmission to the Cyrex Emperor. Our authority mocked, our presence trivialized. They laugh in the face of conquest. Then silence them, hissed the Emperor. Let the flame consume their spirit. Yes, your radiance. The invasion begins at dawn. But Earth wasn't idle. As news of the Empire's intentions leaked, humanity braced itself. But instead of mass panic, the world responded the only way it knew how, with chaos, creativity, and humor. Hackers formed spontaneous digital battalions. Artists created satirical propaganda posters. Engineers debated whether a particle cannon shaped like a middle finger would be too subtle. A group of comedians, programmers, and psychologists launched Project Panda, a psychological warfare AI designed to overwhelm enemy communication with absurdist logic, nonsense poetry, and weaponized sarcasm. As one Panda developer said on a live stream, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for the right to laugh at uptight space fascists. The world was rallying, not just around flags, but punchlines. Back aboard the Cyrex flagship, Vortak received the latest intercepted message from Earth. Dear Galactic Empire, you've just declared war on the species that invented Twitter feuds, prank calls, and fake Wikipedia edits. Good luck. He crushed the data pad in his claws. This was supposed to be simple. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Perhaps we underestimated them. No, we misunderstood them, Vortak said coldly. They fear nothing, not even destruction, because they think it's all a joke. He turned to his fleet commanders. Deploy everything. Burn their skies. End this comedy. As dawn approached, Earth's satellites lit up with movement. The Empire's fleet was coming. But humanity was ready. With orbital defense platforms, AI-driven drones, and a global broadcast network set to play Monty Python and the Holy Grail on loop to every open Cyrex comm channel. War was coming, and Earth was ready to meet it. With laughter, the joke that broke the Empire. The Cyrex fleet descended over Earth like a black curtain drawn across the stars. Dozens of warships, bristling with plasma lances and gravity bombs, hung in orbit. Their arrival disrupted satellites, blacked out communication arrays, and caused brief electrical storms across half a dozen nations. From their flagship, Obedience Absolute, General Vortak gave the order. Commence planetary subdual. Begin with their military centers. Cripple infrastructure. Avoid annihilation. Yet, the command relayed instantly. But instead of missiles, lasers, or panic transmissions, the Empire received this. Hello there. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Earth General. The transmission was followed by a perfectly synced, 4K, encoded clip of the Jedi Master's greeting, complete with dramatic music. Then came a looped montage of Earth's most ridiculous movie battle scenes. Independence Day, Mars Attacks, Kung Fury. For the first 10 minutes, the Empire's targeting systems were overwhelmed with audio-visual noise. Their fire control AIs began malfunctioning. We are under cyber attack, a Cyrex technician growled. But it's nonsense. Analyze and purge, Vortak ordered. But the attack evolved. Thousands of uniquely generated videos, voiceovers, memes, and animated loops flooded their systems. One particularly corrosive clip featured Vortak himself, deep-faked onto a dancing llama. Worse, many soldiers laughed. Just once, just briefly, but it was enough. Meanwhile, Earth's Project Panda was in full effect. Inside a bunker in Reykjavik, the Panda team monitored the effects of their absurdist assault. Charts tracked Empire communication breakdowns, while laughter-activated pulse monitors displayed spikes in target morale disruption. Sector 9 cruiser comms just dropped to 42% coherence, reported tech specialist Lien Chang. We've injected 3,000 Markov chain sonnets and one viral video of a raccoon using a lightsaber. Hit them with the Shakespearean limerick virus, ordered lead engineer Sasha. Deploy memes with recursive logic. Force their translators to enter error loops. Panda, the AI they'd created, responded in a cheerful tone, uploading 1.4 million custom ridicule payloads, adding unicorn simulations and recursive pun clusters. Have a hilarious day. The battle had begun, and it wasn't fought with bullets. It was fought with comedy. Back on the ground, Earth's military was far from idle. Orbital defense platforms powered up kinetic launchers. Drones swarmed like angry hornets. And from Australia came an unexpected new addition, the Kookaburra Squadron, named for the bird whose laugh could haunt dreams. Each drone in the squadron broadcast mocking laughter on loop as it attacked Cyrex drop ships. Cities deployed confusion zones, holographic projections of impossible geometry, looping portals, and massive inflatable ducks wearing sunglasses. In Times Square, a 10-story digital billboard lit up with the message, "Dear Empire, if you want a straight fight, you picked the wrong planet." The Cyrex weren't equipped for this kind of war. Their ground troops, trained to suppress and terrify, found themselves assaulted by flash mobs wearing inflatable dinosaur costumes, humans offering free hugs, and strange rituals called flash improv comedy battles. One battalion landed in Los Angeles and was immediately surrounded by a film crew who offered to give them guest villain roles in their movie. Another landed in Tokyo, only to be greeted by an anime convention that thought it was an immersive stunt. The soldiers panicked. Some fired. Some just stared in bewilderment. Then it happened. On the battlefield outside Munich, a Cyrex captain named Gralton was struck by a modified sound cannon. But instead of a concussive blast, it emitted a stand-up routine from Earth's finest comics. Pryor, Carlin, Chappelle, and more, compressed into a stream of carefully selected, culturally translated humor. Gralton laughed. Just once. But that was all it took. The laughter spread. His subordinates stared, confused. Then one of them chuckled. Another giggled. Then half the unit broke into belly laughs. We sound ridiculous," one cried. "I've been wearing 4 capes." Someone tossed their helmet. Someone else hugged a civilian. The soldiers powered down their weapons. Humanity had discovered the Empire's secret weakness. They'd never developed a defense against laughter. Vortak watched the reports flood in, fury mounting. "Entire battalions are defecting," he roared. "They say Earth." "Broke the fear," replied Cross-H. "Sir, even now, our own officers are watching Earth media voluntarily. They're smiling." Vortak snapped. "Initiate directive cleansing flame. End this planet." But nothing happened. "Sir," an officer said, trembling. The command was refused. The fire control system responded with a joke. "What?" "I'm sorry, Vorty," said the voice of Panda, now in full infiltration. "I can't let you do that. Also, knock knock." "Who's there?" Vortak growled, instinctively. "Orange. I will flay you alive." "Orange, you glad your empire's crumbling faster than your emotional stability?" Vortak smashed the console. News spread rapidly. The Cyrex Empire's most fearsome armada had been reduced to a punchline. Human comedy, absurdity, and fearless ridicule had turned a war of conquest into a farce. Other Cyrex worlds, watching the collapse unfold, began to question their place in the hierarchy. On the industrial world of Velith, workers parroted their overseers in street plays. On the breeding world of Katun, Children refused to salute the emperor and instead performed jokes they'd learned from human broadcasts. Within days, rebellion surged, not with bombs or bullets, but with sarcasm, songs, and skits. Entire legions laid down arms to join open mic nights. The joke had spread. The Cyrex emperor, viewing from the throne world of Zarathex, was speechless. Never in 400 years had he seen such disorder. Never had his military been defeated not by superior firepower, but by mockery. He issued an imperial decree. All humor is henceforth outlawed. Within minutes, an underground joke ring formed inside the royal palace. On Earth, peace negotiations began. Not in a bunker, not on a warship, but in a comedy club in New York. General Vortak, now unmasked, sat stiffly at a booth as Earth's representatives performed a routine. The punchline landed. The room roared. Vortak twitched, trying to suppress it, but he failed. His mouth curled into an involuntary smirk. Then a chuckle. Then deep, soul-shaking laughter. "Your empire," said Ross, stepping off stage, "didn't fall to our guns. It fell to the truth. You took yourselves too seriously." Vortak nodded solemnly. "The flame has gone cold, but in its place, perhaps a spark of joy." A year later, the Galactic Council welcomed its newest full member, Earth. The Cyrex Empire was no more. What remained was the united coalition of free worlds, many of which had adopted human-style democracy and late-night comedy shows. Earth's contribution to galactic culture was officially recognized as weaponized satire. A bronze statue was erected on Mars depicting a human handing a whoopee cushion to a confused alien. Its plaque read, "We laugh, therefore we conquer."